Hello guys, and welcome to today's advanced workshop. So today we're going to be going into actually new ways of launching physical products successfully and more like case study type stuff. I'm excited to talk about this a bit because I think we focus a lot on product research tools, on software tools, on algorithm driven, stats and basics. And I think what we actually need to do is go back to just the basics on what works and what doesn't work. So I'm excited to share some examples with you on what's worked for me, what hasn't worked for me, and give you specific situations in which things have worked and haven't worked, and then just break this down in terms of how to start thinking about products that are going to be successful and what you can do to maximize the chances of your products being successful. So I know we started a little bit late. Apologies for that. I know the time zone shift just happened. But do let me know in the chat box, please, if you guys can see and hear me fine. Okay. Perfect. So I think this is working fine. Just checking our chat box. Yes, perfect. Hello, Alex and Clara. Thank you, guys. I just wanted to double check we're all good to go here. So this is quite a long presentation, yeah, it is like a presentation, this one. And Seth actually presented some of this at Ecom. So he and I worked through this, and he presented it in part with some of my presentation as well, because I couldn't attend. But I want to go through the parts on my end today with you and just explain this a little bit, and hopefully it helps you as you move forward. But it's really a breakdown of the full process of finding a product that's going to work and then maximizing the factors that are going to help you launch that product successfully. So we're going to jump straight into this right now. So I'm going to just share my screen, and please let me know when you guys see this. You'll actually see this, and then we'll go to a Google slide. Okay, just let me know if this pulls up for you guys, if you can see the Google slides, and you'll actually see the chat box as well. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Clara. So let's jump straight into this. So today what we're going to be going over is how to launch a new product and what's most important as you go through this process. So I know a lot of you have already launched products, but this is still going to be very useful in the products you do subsequently in your next products or in product line expansion. So we're going to go through a bit of the strategies you can use and examples of what has worked and hasn't. So I think a good place to start with launching a product is asking the question, have you ever had reviews removed from a listing? And some of you may have had this happen. I've had this happen. And some of you may not have had this happen. If you have had this happen, then you're already in the mindset that's going to work well for this presentation, because you know how tough of a situation that can actually be. And if you haven't been in that situation, that's great. And we can try to keep it that way. But I urge you just to watch. And if you are considering things like incentivized reviews and hacks and tricks and short-term tactics, then watch through this, because it's probably going to change your mind. And I think that'll be a great thing, because it's going to avoid you landing up in a situation where you do actually have reviews removed from listings. So where the strategy comes from on my end is I actually launched a product using a number of short-term launching methods. And in 6 weeks, that listing ranked on page 1, 2, and 3 for the main keywords. It gained between 40 and 50 reviews at a 4.8 star rating, like you can see here. And it gained between 15 and 40 sales per day consistently. And then this happened. So out of the blue, just all of the reviews were removed. And what was worse is this message started appearing when you tried to leave reviews, or someone else did. And basically the listing not only lost all of them, but it couldn't even receive reviews. So it's kind of like dead weight. It's just a ship without a sail. It's just sitting there and you can't move. So a lot of people in this situation often recommend, oh, well, why not just, put the inventory under a new listing? But the problem lies in that all that inventory is linked physically because it has the FNSKU, which is linked to a specific listing. So it's very difficult. You can't just chop and change those listings. You would have to remove all the inventory and send it all back in order to actually do that and have it under a different listing. So it can leave you in a very dire situation where you have to spend a lot and really start over. And the truth is, when in the incentivized fashion, which part of this was, those reviews they cost money, and you're going to lose that as well. So it can be quite a serious event and a big setback. But if we have to pull positives out of it, which is what we should do and move forward, the big conclusions I found with this was looking at, revisiting Amazon's mission statement and just their kind of little SWOT analysis here. And if you look at the beginning of their mission statement, it says, "We seek to be Earth's most customer-centric company." And so overall, from this experience, I took away that Amazon wants to retain organic reviews that help their customers, allow the best products to win rather than those with large review counts. And I think that's good. I think that's the best strategy on this. I think that actually levels the playing field, where you're no longer actually competing with perhaps bigger companies doing these incentivized methods. It comes down to the best products. It levels the playing field and actually allows us to be more specific on what strategies are going to work. Then here, if you look at their little SWOT analysis, this shows how it works. And we were messing with this part of the process, sellers in general, anyone who's done incentivized reviews, because Amazon, has all its traffic. People use it all the time. And then they'll find third-party sellers, and then they go through a selection process of what product to buy. And that leads to a good customer experience and so on, more traffic. So in doing incentivized reviews, a seller chooses to actually mess with selection a bit. And that's where I believe Amazon decided to step in and change that, because again, it's impacting their customer centric objective. So the question really became, how do we best launch a product in this new paradigm? So I worked through a number of strategies. That's actually what my wall looked like. And I tried external strategies, some of which didn't work. And, but it was a fun process of seeing, what's going to work and what isn't. And the new strategy started with a couple of questions. These were the main core questions. Number one, what factors lead to success on Amazon? That goes right back to the basics. What factors lead to success on Amazon? Secondly, how can we safely launch? Because you don't want to go through that process we just discussed. How can we safely launch a product and maximize these factors? And thirdly, how can we gain organic reviews over the long term? Not just a short burst, but how could we build a strategy in here that's going to get us organic reviews consistently? Not so we get, 20 in the beginning and then it never happened, then we get one per every 300 purchases. How can we build it in so we have a consistent stream of reviews and keep building the strength of that listing? So in the end, successfully selling a product and gaining organic, favorable reviews consistently over time comes down to three things. And these are the VDI factors. Uh, so this is, the acronym we used, but it just comes down to these three factors. Number one is visibility. The first two you'll be familiar with already. Visibility is obviously that you have to be in front of the customer for them to even consider you. If you're not visible, you don't get a click. It's the same with anything. If your website's not visible on Google, it doesn't get the click. If your YouTube video is not visible on YouTube, it won't get the click. If your product's not visible on Amazon, it's not even going to get the click. So visibility is number one. Secondly is desirability. So when we're in front of the customer, when we are visible, we need to make sure we are what they want. We are offering the solution to their problem. So that's very important. And more so is optimizing main images and jumping off that page, being the choose me option, being extremely prominent when visible. And then impact is number three. And impact really deals with over delivery. And I know that term's overused, but this is actually one of the most important here. We're going to go through a couple ways to do this, but you want to properly surprise the customer with real value to increase your review rate. And some people feel this is like a gimmick. This is not a gimmick. This is so important. And if you implement this, you're going to see massive changes. This works. I've tested it with and without this. And implementing the impact aspect is what's going to change the whole thing for you. So I really recommend don't look at this as a gimmick. There's ways if you position it wrong, it will be viewed as a gimmick. If you position it correctly, it will work in your favor and gain you reviews consistently. So those are the VDI factors: visibility, desirability, and impact. So if we look at the process overall, before we get into the details here, I wanted to break it down a little bit. So from our customer's point of view, it works like this: the visibility, so they see us first. Then we're desirable. We are the option they want. And then later, after purchase, the impact would come in. But that's the flow a customer would go through. For us, it's going to work a little differently. How we would build this out is almost in reverse. So we're going to start with desirability because that's what we would start with when developing a product. And that would go through doing our market research, product design and differentiating, making a better product. Supplier acquisition here is just in black here because it's just part of the process. It's kind of showing you where these things would happen in the process. Coupon clippings, extremely important for desirability. And then early reviewer program, also important for our desirability. So that's the first sort of stage that we're going to get into. And then impact is something further that we're going to build in. And this has to do with actually coming up with a physical gift that resonates with our audience and just is very relevant to the product we provide and adds that value. And it's a surprise. We're going to get into this more. It's not something you say free gift on the listing with. Next is golden tickets. And we're going to talk about how that differs from product inserts. Lead magnets and landing pages, which you're familiar with. This is your ebook type of deal here. And then follow-ups, which are key. The sequence currently that we teach in the course currently is very effective. I found that to be the best one I've ever used in terms of actually getting people to respond, to get people to reach out instead of leave negative reviews. Very good sequence. And I know people opt out, but this is still 100% worth it. If you're selling in Europe or the UK, this is even more important because there are so many sellers who do not use even follow-ups in those smaller markets as well. And then just to show in the process where we would be, we would list and manufacture and ship the product. And then lastly is visibility. We've built all of that in, we've built it all out. And now we need to get in front of the customer at launch. We need to take this product to the next level. And that is going to be through social media, giveaways, Facebook ads, and PPC are the main tools we're going to look to in actually getting our product moving, getting it in front of people. And we know that when we have it in front of people, it's going to be extremely desirable and they're going to choose it. And then during the process, we're going to deliver an impactful experience. And that's going to result in reviews and something that builds over the long term. But you can see, I know a lot of this you guys will know already, but it's important to view it this way, because when people talk about launching a product, they only talk about this one. And that's a mistake, because if you don't do this right, it doesn't matter what you do here, it's not going to work. So, if you don't build this in, yes, you may get reviews if you've done an outstanding job here. But if you don't build that part in, you're definitely going to get less reviews as well. So you can see how they have to work in sequence. It's like a puzzle. You have to do it in order correctly. Without this one, this will not work. So the launch actually goes back through the whole process, which is very important. So if we start with the first main point, that desirability, here we're looking at two main aspects, and this is the key, is a high click-through rate with a high conversion rate is going to lead to high sales. And that's how you win. That's, if you could simplify the process of pretty much anything online, it comes down to that. That's it. A high click-through rate and a high conversion rate means you win. That's it. So those are the things we need to focus on with desirability, to make sure when people see that listing, they do click. That's the first thing. And once they click, we want to look at the question of, okay, how can we make everyone who clicked buy? Our conversion rate. You maximize those two and you will win. So the first thing is click-through rate. That's our first one. We're going to look at click-through rate areas that customers focus on most. How can we maximize that? And you can look at heat maps like this one. This is just for one page. They do differ a bit, but you can see where the main focus lies in these more highlighted areas. But do notice how reviews are much less highlighted than the information over here. And that's an important thing we'll get to now. So if we list them, what impacts click-through rate the most? Number one is actually your differentiation, because you have to think about when someone comes to buy a product, and people make this mistake, they think the thing that makes people choose a product is reviews. It's never reviews. It's literally never reviews. If I want to buy, okay, let's use this endoscope as an example. If I'm looking for an endoscope, there's no ways I'm just going to come to the front page, look at which one has most reviews and buy it. There's no ways I will do that. What I'm going to do is say, okay, is that the one I want? Is it 3 meters? Will it fit in the engine bay? Does it have oh, wow, that one has a carry case. That one has the hook and the mirror. I didn't even think of that. That's going to be useful for the job I need to do. Do you see? So it's all going to come down to what the product is and how much it's going to benefit me and what value it delivers. And if it fits my model of phone or car or camera, that's what's most important first off, is does it fulfill my need, not how many reviews it has. So that's key. Linked to that one is the main image. And you saw the place the eye is focused most on the heat map is the image. And so I've seen this before in meeting with members, and I'll see that they've done this extremely well. They've built out an amazing product, and yet this is just not there. Like they leave out showing what they did here over here. This one, the main image, looks just the same as everyone else's, or just a different color. Or, a good example would be maybe they have this nice carry case and these tools, and they have that in the title, but not in the main image. And it's like, you have to show that. You have to show all of the value you're offering in the main image. I actually recommend you have at least 5 split test main images. And all that means is you have 5 different main images that you can move through and test. Different main images can create significantly different sales results, just the main image. Why? Because that's how much it alters click-through rate. That's how important this metric is. Third most important is price. People shop on price. And people often feel like, oh, people always choose the lowest price. That's not true either. In this case, you'll find that some people actually just choose this product, this endoscope, because it's $120, because they want the best of the best, because they're that premium customer. That happens too. So you have 2 levels there. You have your price conscious consumer who's going to look for the lower prices, and you're going to have that premium end customer who wants the very best, who wants to buy for life type of thing. So this is obviously very important to consumers. And then comes reviews. So it's number 4 here. And if you fuse these first 2, it's at least number 3. But it's number 4 on the list of what impacts click-through rates. And the reason I think that's so important is because I think we overvalue reviews. We value them too much and stress too much about there's no more hacks and tricks. And, I think we need to move past that and see them as important as they really are, not put them on this pedestal of being the be all and end all, because they definitely are not. And then 5 is also your title. People will look at the title and read the title for compatibility. You can see here already, this one actually says compatible with iPhone, Android. So people will look at that as well to see certain more technical data and aspects like that. 1080p, maybe you want to see what resolution or what have you that product is. So this deals, before we move on, the click-through rate deals with, does someone click on yours when they're on the main page here? And the next step would be once they've clicked through. So say I chose that one because that's what I was looking for. Now we're on the listing and we're going to look at the conversion rate metrics. So the conversion rate, what do people focus on here? What influences them the most? And how can we optimize for the best conversion rate possible? So looking at conversion rate, the most important aspect here are your listing images. That's the first place people look because that gives information quickly. People just generally lazy on this. It's like why people will rather watch a movie than read a book. Not everyone, definitely not everyone, but a lot of people, because it's easy. It's an easier way to just take in information. And so images are more important than copy. People look to them because it conveys more information more quickly to your brain while you're making these decisions. You can see very quickly if that's what you need. Bullet points. So bullet points are also very important, especially our main beginning part of those bullet points, where our big benefits and features are listed. They might be looking for, okay, is this one waterproof? Is it the length I need, the resolution I need, etc. The nature of reviews. So this definitely comes in. Someone might see a product and they see the main image, they see the listing images, and they think, wow, this thing looks perfect. This looks like it's going to work for exactly what I need it to work for. But why does it only have 3 stars? What's the problem? Does that problem affect me? Is that a real problem? Was it is that something that is going to stop me from buying this product? So that's a lot of the kind of feeling where people will look at the nature of reviews to understand whether or not that's going to stop them from purchasing. The description as well, obviously very important for your more tech spec type of information. And then questions and answers. These are used as well because sometimes certain information is lacking on the listing, which it shouldn't be, but sometimes it is. And then those questions and answers can help people a lot. Customers also search just above questions and answers. and that'll help them search both the questions and answers and reviews for certain information. Like they might put in iPhone to see, is this product compatible with iPhone, etc. So how can we increase desirability for higher click-through rates and higher conversion rates? The first thing we're going to do, as per that summary, is we need to build a better product. And without that, the rest will not work. So conduct your product research well. Ensure that you can valuably differentiate and check that that market also accepts lower review counts. Remember, at first, you're going to have lower reviews. So for example, in this market here, we can see, this product over here has 19 reviews. That's something we could work to quite quickly. And they're doing 11 sales a day. Their revenue, you can see, is almost 26,000 a month. So does the market accept those, or are they just insistent on buying from the high review competitors? And in this case, we can see that they do accept these. There's enough demand there for us to build up. And if we build a better product, we could actually take sales from each and do more than them as well. Then show that your product is better. It's one thing to build a better product, but you need to show it. Show that value in the main image, make it the choice for a high click-through rate, and have those split test main images. Optimize your listing for that high conversion rate as well, as we touched on now with listing images and bullet points, etc. I would turn early reviewer program on. This is can only be done before you have 5 reviews. But this is something that I really recommend because it's going to have Amazon actually reach out to certain customers for you to get you at least 5 reviews within a year, which is great. And that's going to cost $60 per SKU. And you can do that just under advertising on Seller Central. Find early reviewer program. Coupon clipping. So I'll definitely use these at least at launch as well. You can find them under advertising and then coupons. And you can do money off or percentage off. That's your choice for these. They look like this. So you can see save 10% with coupon. Now these are going to maximize your desirability. Remember, we're still talking about desirability. And the reason is it looks like another badge on the listing. Your Amazon's choice, your bestseller. It looks like that. It grabs attention. It increases our click-through rate. So these are also really efficient because not everyone actually applies them. In other words, it might increase your click-through rate because it grabbed attention. But when on the listing, someone looks for their information, is this the right product for them? And then they buy without actually applying that coupon. So although it increases your click-through rate, it actually may not cost you much at all to do this. In fact, you may have full price sales. And that's how we're going to work to maximize the desirability. At that point, we should feel like when our offering's in front of customers, it's likely to gain a very high click-through rate and conversion rate, and that will result in a lot of sales. So that's the first thing we build out, so that we know when we make it visible, it's going to convert. People will click and convert. The next section is impact, which we're going to jump into. And I just want to see if there are any questions at this point. Okay, perfect. And hello, Marion and Matt. Nice to see you guys here. Okay, let's push for this. So with impact, what we're getting more into here is, again, that over delivery and actually creating an authentic, credible surprise with customers. That's what this is about. It's definitely not about that thing you guys have all seen where it says free gift on the main image. It's not about that. It's very different. So remember that reviews are the 4th most important factor in terms of click-through rate. Now, in this section, we're going to focus on maximizing our chances of organically gaining positive reviews and lowering the chances of negative reviews, which is as important. This is as important, the negative. So how do reviews actually impact our conversion rate and our sales? So this was a study by Review, and what they found is reviews will actually see you an additional 18% in sales. So you can see it's a significant difference, but it's not like you have to have reviews. The next thing is they found that a product with 50 plus reviews will see a 4.6% increase in conversion rate. So when someone's on your listing, they're more likely to actually buy. If 5% more likely to buy if you have more than 50 reviews. And that confirms that although the reviews are important, they're not the be all and end all. They're definitely not a prerequisite. So with customer delight, this is part of impact. Are you actively adding an unmentioned physical gift to your products? That would be the main question here. And this is what we're going to be going through today. You can build this into reorders. You can build this into the next product you do, or perhaps you're already doing this. So gifting is one of the most effective ways of doing this, of outperforming people in the new paradigm, of outperforming sellers and competitors in this new paradigm, because things are moving all organic. I really recommend, if people are trying to find new hacks and tricks and trick the system, I recommend you move entirely away from it, because if we go by what's just happened with Amazon, if we go by that, it's only a matter of time. And Amazon's going to catch on. They're going to look back at their mission statement and their SWOT analysis, and they're going to say, we can't have this for our customers. We need organic. We need the best products. We need to work with the best brands who are bringing proper value and playing by the rules. So, and this is a great way to play by the rules and do what most sellers are not going to do, because it takes effort to do this. So you want to research a complementary item that's going to resonate with your customer. And that gift should be an unexpected surprise. You never mention this on the listing, ever, never. Not on the main image, not in the bullets, nowhere. No one knows they're even getting this. It's lightweight and small. That way it doesn't impact your FBA fees. It's inexpensive, so it doesn't hit your profit margins, but it has a high perceived value. Remember, people aren't expecting it. So it doesn't have to be expensive, because people are not even expecting it. It's still going to be a surprise. Just make sure it's of good quality and that it resonates with the audience and it's part of what your product does. It fits in that same niche. It serves the purpose or enhances the functionality or performance of the product. And it must be included in every product at the point of assembly. Save your time, save a lot of your own time, and do this at the point of assembly. I really recommend that with the supplier. It should be spoken of on the golden ticket, which is like a product insert, and we'll get to this. So here's some good examples, gifting examples. So Griller Grills, they're a brand that does grills and smokers, and they provide each customer with small gifts, which enhance their barbecue experience, and a handwritten thank you note. So this enhances the chances of positive reviews by making customers feel special. And when you make a customer feel special, when you over deliver with them, we as humans want to return the favor. We feel good about that interaction. And that's what the environment you want to create. That's why it's got to be a surprise. That's why it's got to be unexpected. As soon as you put this on the listing, you ruined it. Like the whole thing's gone, because it's expected now. So it's very important. It's a surprise. Here's another example. So this is Gallon Leather, and they sell leather goods made in Turkey. And within each product, they add free gifts from Turkey. And that enhances their brand story and the origin of those goods. It creates more prestige around it, because, okay, this is from Turkey. Look, all the stuff from Turkey. It's about the story. And gifts, in either case, gifts should always be relevant with perceived value and a surprise. So next is product inserts. So product inserts versus golden tickets, first of all. So product inserts, if I had to say in a nutshell what the difference is, product inserts are about sellers and golden tickets are about customers. A product insert is about what you can get as a seller. It asks for a review. It says, thanks, leave us a review. A golden ticket is about your customer, and it's from you to your customer. It gives them more value, and it doesn't ask for a review. It's about making their experience better. It ties in with a physical gift, which makes their experience better. So that's the big difference here. Now, imagine your customer receives your product and they're going to open that up and they get their golden ticket. And it first speaks of that gift that we've given them, just to explain it a bit, because people might be a bit confused. And then what you want to do is create exclusivity about that. That's important. Did they get a lucky product? Think about the golden ticket, the Willy Wonka thing. Think about that and create an experience. People love an experience. So that's what you want to do with this. Then at this point, the customer's happy with you. They're happy. And then you want your insert to do the following after that, is offer the customer more value, add a lead, and that is a lead magnet, and you offer them that at a specific URL or QR code. So they already know they get a lot of value from you. So they're likely to take action here. It's probably worth their time because they're probably going to get good value. Never ask for a review on this product insert. I don't even want to call it that anymore, but don't ask for a review on this. That's old. That's what everyone does. No one cares anymore. I wouldn't do that. I would use this opportunity to not do that. Now, designing your lead magnet. So what is that thing you offer them? What is on that card that you're offering? You want to research what your customers need in terms of reaching their goals and solving their problems. And this, again, should line up seamlessly with your product and what it's for. You want to think about things like ebooks. And if you do ebooks, do them well. This is important. Like if you do an ebook well, it's appreciated. And what I mean by that is don't just write, a 2-page ebook that's, just difficult to read or just not engaging. One of the things I do now with the ebooks is I'll have a cartoonist actually do diagrams and images and pictures within the ebook. And so it's very engaging and something that's fun to read. It's like an adventure as you go through that ebook. And that's, again, an experience. That's what you want to give the customer. So I really think you want to bring that ebook to life, whatever it is. Include pictures, make it visual. People will enjoy that. Guides, video courses. This is huge. If you can do that, if you have the resources to do this, if your product category lends itself to this, it's massive. You'll get like huge click-through rate to this type of thing. Recipes, massive if your niche allows. Coupons, also very big. People love a coupon. Other products, so you could link like one of the things I do as well is I may do on one of the products I actually do this. I have a slower moving product. So what I do but it's related to the other product under the brand. So what I'll do is link to that, and I'll set it up in a way that I'll give the customer a coupon off of the slower moving product, which is related. So in that way, I'm able to move that inventory as well and over deliver. And so you'll have to vet that, also vet profitability on that, because you have to see, what's going to work for you on your numbers. But in some cases, you have a slower moving product, need to move the inventory a bit quicker. It's a great strategy. And of course, you don't want to hit like long-term storage fees if something's moving slower than you wanted. So this is a great way to include that and use that as an opportunity. So that's something you can do as well. and then decide on one. I think that's important to state here. Some people try to do like multiple. Do one and do it really well. That's what I would say here. And think of what would drive you to go type a URL in. It's very unlikely people will do it because, I mean, everyone's different. But when I receive a product, the product insert it disappears quite quickly, I have to admit, because I look at it more from a seller's perspective actually to learn from it. But as a customer, it like it's I guess it depends on you and your personality and if you're busy or what have you. But think about that, like what's going to make you go type in a URL? What's going to be worth it for you to go and do that, and then check with other people. Because the surprising thing is I did a test when I was checking with other people, would they type that in? And a lot of people said yes. So you do have to check with other people as well. Would they take action on that or not? And then choose one. But for example, video courses, I think have huge click-through rate. And this is something I'm planning to do as well for one of the products. Recipes, I'm sure, would be massive because that's obviously extremely related. Coupons have a huge click-through rate. This works for sure. And I'd say ebooks, lesser, but you can choose out of these. So the landing page. Now, this is simply when they type the URL in. So your golden ticket says, go here to get our 3-day video course. And they type that in, they land here on the landing page. And this is where your customer comes to from that insert. And they're going to input their information here, you can see, to get the lead magnet, to get your 3-day video course, or to get your recipe. That's how you build your email list in Facebook Pixel. Now, the lead magnet's all automated. So you want to, it'll automatically send once they put their email in. And you're now building that audience as well. Remember, that's key because that's an audience you can reach out to anytime. Say you need reviews. Those are people you can reach out to in line with TOS to ask for reviews. So to quickly summarize this, because I know that's a lot of info, but this is how simple it is. Your customer receives your product. They're going to open that up and find the gift. That's going to be the thing that stands out because they weren't expecting it. They find the insert card. And remember, because they weren't expecting the gift, it's probably going to prompt them to look more at this as well, the insert card. Then they're going to also find the lead magnet you're offering at a URL. And they type that in. They're on your actual landing page. You already have Facebook Pixel. They put in their name and email, and we have sent them automatically that lead magnet. And we've built our email list and Facebook Pixel. Everyone's happy. And then follow up. So with follow up is where we're obviously doing our automated email follow-ups. I know you guys are very clued up on this. But I have met with some members who are not using the sequence in the course currently. And I really do recommend you take a look at it. And we're going to quickly touch on this now because it works. This one really works. So here is just a snapshot of what I want to emphasize is so important with follow-up emails, whether you use Feedback Genius or My Seller Pal or whichever one you choose. This is important. This graph shows us how many negative reviews would you have to read before changing your mind about buying a product. Okay, so how many negative reviews would you have to read? 39% of people said if they read 3 negative reviews, they would change their mind about buying the product. So, and you can see here, so only 4% of people said they would change their mind about buying a product if they saw 1 negative review. 24%, so almost a quarter of people said they would change their mind about buying a product if they saw just 2 negative reviews. And then obviously 39% said, I would change my mind about buying that product if I saw 3 negative reviews about it. So this is quite critical, because if you look at this, what is this? So by this point over here, 3 negative reviews, you've actually lost a massive piece of the market if those 3 negative reviews are prominent, or if you only have 3 negative reviews. That's you losing a huge piece of your market, like 60 something percent. So this is it's critical that you do work on not only getting positive, but avoiding negative reviews. One way we can do that's with follow-up. So follow-up emails are sent through Seller Central to your customers, and it can be fully automated. And we have 4 goals with the sequence. I'm going to run through this quickly. So number 1, we want to over deliver. And that's why with our follow-up, we're also going to deliver a lead magnet. Okay, that's separate, not to be confused with what we just discussed from the insert card. But with our follow-up, we're also going to over deliver. We're going to start a relationship and turn that one-time customer into a fan. We're going to avoid negative feedback with this, and we're going to materialize good experience into reviews. So email 1, and there's just 1 slide per email, so it's fast. Okay, here, what we're going to do is have the email subject surprise, and that gains attention. It has a good open rate. Again, most things come down to click-through rate and conversion rate. Here we use surprise because it has a good click-through rate. We also create the body of the email like you can see here, and we use personalization. You can see hi, buyer name. That engages with people. Immediately we offer more value with an attachment here. So you can see we're giving you our premium ebook 100% on us. So over deliver. Again, we're not asking for anything, we're giving more. Give unhappy customers a chance to reach out. I recommend you do that in every mail you send. You say, hey, any problems, please reach out to us. We're here, we're ready to take action. Because again, that's what you want them to do. You don't want them to go leave a negative review. Do not ask for a review in this first email. And then we're going to trigger this to send immediately after shipped. So if the person purchased the product, the warehouse is going to ready that, pack that. And as it ships out, that's when this mail comes through to the customer. Hey, your order's on the way. We just wanted to say thanks. Here's something else from us. Let us know if there's any issues as well. Email 2. So this one, we're going to start with, hey, buyer name, did you get it? So like, hey, Seth, did you get it? It's personal and curious. Again, high click-through rate. And now we're going to simply check in the body of this. We check in on that buyer and give them an opportunity to report any issues to us. Again, let us know. And we're ready to take action on that. And we send this one 2 days after estimated delivery. That's important because Amazon's estimated delivery is sometimes wrong. And you don't want to send this before it's been delivered, obviously, because then everyone's going to reply, oh, I didn't get it. And so just avoid that by doing it 2 days after delivery date. That way you have contingency, and that will work well as well. Last email. Seth, do you remember me? So this is going to be very strong as well on that click-through rate. And it creates a lot of curiosity. People often respond to this one, I've noticed. And yeah, this one works for sure. So tie back to your interaction a bit in the body here. Hey, I hope you haven't been annoyed with my emails over the past few days. This is my last mail to you. So that gives you credibility. You're not spamming them. And then, say to them like here, I really appreciate it if you took 1 minute to just click on the link here to give us your feedback. And that goes straight for them to leave a review. And, please let us know if you're not satisfied with anything. We're ready to make it right to you, or make it up to you, and, respond directly to this mail so we can make it up to you. Very important. This one we trigger 5 days after estimated delivery date. So they've had a couple of days to actually test the product. Now, the thing is, we're tying back to our relationship, and they're going to feel like, these guys have just over delivered. I got their product. I got a free gift in their product. I got more value at the lead magnet if they chose to go and get that. On their emails, they delivered value. They've just delivered value and made sure I'm happy. I had a question about how long the order would take. They responded quickly. They've asked for literally nothing through the whole process, and now you ask. And that's much more powerful than asking for a review everywhere, because that's where people, you haven't built a relationship, you haven't delivered value, you haven't surprised them, you haven't created a good relationship between you and them, and they've just given you, their money for a product, and you're asking them for more. That's your time to give more. And so that's maximizing our impact. At that point, every customer should experience some form of customer delight. And that's going to enhance the chances of positive reviews and reducing the risk of negative reviews. And again, this is something built in. It's something that's going to happen over the long term. This is not something that just happens in the beginning. This is something that's going to consistently work for you, consistently build reviews. Like each time you go and check your listing, there's another review there. That's what starts to happen with this, because it's built in, over delivering again and again. And it might seem like overkill having, delivering value here and there. But the thing is, think about it this way. If someone doesn't go to the lead magnet from your insert, they're still going to get it through the follow-up. If someone opted out of the follow-up, they can still get that value through the insert, the lead magnet. So that way you're covering your bases on both. So this definitely works well. I really recommend that sequence. And lastly is visibility. So we've built a desirable offering. We've built in impact to that offering and an experience with the customer. And now it's time to take that and let's put it in front of our perfect customer to start making sales and building keyword rank, so we can become organically visible and just remain there as a desirable option and continually build those reviews over time. Okay, and with visibility, what I want to do is jump into this in our next session. We're not going to have time for this. I think it's a great point to actually stop this one today, and then we can jump into that. I don't want to try squeeze it in. I'd rather take our time and move through that next week when we do this. Okay, let me jump out of this and stop screen sharing. Okay. And I saw we had a couple of questions. So Matt says, great reassuring webinar, Dan. Thank you, Matt. We have been concerned about how we're going to obtain non-incentivized reviews and how sales may be affected by launching without positive social proof, without reviews. Yeah, so what I would do is keep it, this just personally, I keep it organic, because I think there's too much risk, like I said, if you get stripped of those reviews, man, that can be a serious thing it can be a setback. So I would keep it organic and use these methods because they 100% work. Yeah, so Austin asks a really good question. Is it okay to respond to a buyer who left positive seller feedback to ask if they would also leave a product review? If so, how could we do that? Do we click on contact buyer? What subject field should we select? So yes, Austin, I would do this for sure. I've done this before because that's a happy customer. So they'll be likely to do this for you as well. And again, you could also offer them something. I like to do that. If I'm going to ask them to do something, I like to offer them something else. So you can work with that, but I'm sure that would be okay. remember, just never ask them for a positive one, but the likelihood is it would be positive. So yes, contact buyer would be fine. Yeah, so Austin says, so if we include the golden ticket type insert with no ask of a review, is there another point of contact with the customer at which you're asking for a review besides just the autoresponder? No. So that is the main point, where we're asking for the review. Now you can build in uh, off of Amazon or off autoresponder sequences. So like if someone did take action on the lead magnet, that's something you could ask them in that sequence. If you're using like messenger bots, that's another way you can automate a follow-up to ask for reviews. So you can do that in the other sequences. However, in what we're teaching here, no, it's only going to be on that auto responder where you actually ask for the review. However, it's a good point. I have found it to be very effective. I think maybe people are tired of hearing, give us a review. So I think it works, as well as the fact that because of your over delivery, here's the thing, you want to get to the point where your over delivery makes people go leave reviews. That's what you want to do. You don't have to ask. If you're really surprising them, that's where you want to be, is where they actually say, you know what, I'm actually going to go leave a review. And then they do. Matt says, so what is your preferred autoresponder tool? And do you know the approximate percentage of current opt-out customers? Seems like most mails we send bounce back. So my preferred tool is My Seller Pal. I just use that one. I used Feedback Genius for many years as well. Great tool as well. My Seller Pal is just more cost effective for me because I also use it for those coupon redeeming landing pages. So it covers my bases and it's still cheaper than Feedback Genius. So that's the one I recommend currently. Okay, and then on the approximate percentage of opt-outs, I'm not sure. It is a large amount of people for sure. It is a large amount of customers. I also just the mailbox for that just fills up with, we couldn't send this message. So I know exactly what you mean. However, I've still found it to be extremely effective in gaining reviews, even though I understand that opt-out part of the process. Again, what you guys can do is build it out in other places. Look, I mean, you could like, for example, if you wanted to, on the back of your insert card, you could ask for this. I just personally choose not to. So doesn't mean it's right. It's just what I choose to do because I think it's old. Like, I think we have an opportunity to not do it, if that makes sense. Like, because everyone's doing it. So I think that's how you could stand out. But again, it's not right or wrong. It's just what I do. So if you're feeling really strongly about wanting to have that and ask for the review more prominently, you can definitely do that. In fact, what you could do, here's just like a random example. If you were doing a lead magnet, which is a recipe, the end of the recipe, you could say, hey, we would love to have your feedback. Or if you're doing an ebook, at the end of the ebook, you could actually put that at the end of the ebook. There's all those ways you could add the ask more if that's what you're looking to do. My pleasure, Fuang. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So Matt says, I missed the beginning of the webinar, but you referenced Amazon's mission statement. Have Amazon announced news on incentivized reviews and actively stripping reviews? So yeah, I think it was kind of public. Like they said, they stripped reviews. They stripped like over, I can't remember what it was. It was thousands and thousands of reviews were stripped instantly. So yeah, but it wasn't that's exactly what happened. So so avoid it. Like it's crazy. What's like you can deal with what I found is I could deal with losing the reviews because I was like, okay, I'll just have to start again and work up. But what was really the kind of the nail in the coffin for it was that they stopped the listing even being able to have reviews, and that is really tough to deal with because now you're making sales. Everything you've set up, it's not going to result in reviews because the listing cannot get reviews. So that's the toughest thing there for sure. So I would just stay well clear of that. You don't want too many reviews as well. And I know that sounds a bit crazy, but it's all algorithm driven, unfortunately. So even if you had like an absolutely stellar product that's just going to, people love it. This is exactly what they need. And they get the product and it's amazing. And everyone's leaving reviews. They're probably going to remove them, like, because it's all algorithm driven. So I know that seems counterintuitive, but that's literally the game we're going to have to play. So, yeah, I mean, if you're getting like 3 to 5 review, I don't want to even say a number because I don't know. But if you're just consistently getting reviews, it'll be perfectly fine. You don't want big amounts of reviews coming in short time periods because they're going to jump on that and remove them. It's like the best way to describe it's the tortoise will win. So if you see people coming in and getting like all these unverified reviews, and let them do that because it's the tortoise will win for sure. When they strip that listing and it can't get reviews and you're still sitting on your 38 reviews, slowly building, you're miles ahead. So I definitely recommend that. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining today. Sorry for the mix up on time zones, and we'll pick this up next week and be more tortoise. Yes, and take it from there. But I hope this helped you and just get back to the basics and what really works, and focus on your click-through rate and conversion rate. And those metrics you can also find in Ads Manager for PPC. It helps a lot if you look at specific keywords and click-through rate and conversion rate. Focusing on those is really going to help you improve sales and just get back to basics on this. But my pleasure, all you guys, Matt, Clara, Alex, Marion, thanks so much for joining, and I'll see you guys next week.